Who secures a playoff spot tonight, Nate? Warriors or Grizzlies?
I have never been less confident in the Golden State Warriors in my life. The past 5 games at home have been abysmal. They're 2-3 out of the last 5. It's bad. Very, very bad. And if they do lose against the Grizzlies tonight, this would be 4 straight home losses. For a team that is extremely experienced, the head of the spear is Steve Kerr, who has won championships up the wazoo. He's winning over and over and over again as a player, as a head coach. He created the best dynasty in the 2010s, in my opinion. And Steph Curry is right there, a unanimous MVP, a multi-time MVP winner, who just won an NBA Finals MVP a couple years ago in 2022. And then Draymond Green, who has really been the glue to keep this Warriors unit together, even when things got a bit rough, like a couple years ago with the Jordan Poole situation. Draymond Green's role is not to go out there and score a bunch of points. He's more of the offensive catalyst, setting Steph Curry up, setting the offense up, being the transition guy. And somehow they're falling apart at the seams. That overtime performance against the Los Angeles Clippers to end the regular season was embarrassing. They let James Harden do whatever they want. Whatever he wants. And then Draymond Green, open layup. Was he down by 2, I think? Down by 3? He decides to draw a foul, and it was the worst attempt at drawing a foul in my life. It was just a terrible, terrible play. You go up with the points to live another possession. Instead, he misses, and then they ended up losing that game. So, going into this game, my confidence level is at a relatively low level. But I will also say this. Memphis has struggled mightily against winning teams in the Western Conference. They haven't won a game against a team above 500 in the Western Conference since January. So when it comes to that side, I'm a little bit confident. I'm pretty confident about it. But when it's all said and done, let's talk about this performance, because Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors are in not great territory, because the play-in tournament, they're 0-3, and like you mentioned in the rundown, they lost one of the playing games to this Memphis Grizzlies team. Now, not the exact one, but the fact that most of the key pieces of that loss are still there. So, also, Jimmy Butler doesn't have a tremendous history of the play-in tournament either, although because he lost that initial game to Atlanta, which we were stunned by, and then he eventually ended up beating the Bulls, which then sparked that NBA Finals run. And he's been pretty good, and especially scoring-wise as of late, pretty good for the Golden State Warriors. I think I am going to give it to the Warriors, though, tonight, though. I don't feel great about picking them. They're 7.5-point favorites, but I don't feel great with that pick, because we could see a game like we saw against the Memphis Grizzlies where Stephen Curry goes 0 for 7, 0 for 6 from 3, only puts up 2 points, and they get blown out, and they give up 144 points. Or we could see a Steph Curry game like we saw early April against the Grizzlies where he dropped 52 with 12 threes. So it really depends on how Steph Curry comes out and performs, because he can come out on fire, and then, in my opinion, there is no player in the NBA who I fear more when he's on fire as much as Steph Curry. So if he's on fire, then I would be very confident, obviously, in picking them. So I am going to pick the Warriors this time. I think the combination of the addition of Jimmy Butler was a massive impact, both offensively and defensively, because not only do teams have to worry about Steph Curry getting hot, now Jimmy Butler could be a nice facilitator, and he's drawing a bunch of fouls, which is very key for the Golden State Warriors, who were bottom 5 in the NBA before Jimmy Butler got there in free throw attempts per game. So I think it's going to come down to obviously the 2 stars of the team in Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, but also this will be a bench matchup, because what's interesting is that the Warriors and the Grizzlies are 3-2 respectively. The Grizzlies are number 2, the Warriors are number 3 in bench scoring. And the Warriors have outscored the Memphis Grizzlies bench. They're 2-2. 2 times the Grizzlies bench outscored the Warriors bench, and however the Warriors, like I mentioned, are 3-1 in the series so far in the season series. I think it's going to be funny what Steve Kerr does, though, with Jonathan Kuminga, because he didn't play against the Clippers, and he said recently that he found a lineup that works that doesn't include Jonathan Kuminga. So what could the future look like of Kuminga's status on the Golden State Warriors? I'm not entirely sure. But I'm going to trust the veteran leadership. I'm going to say that 4th time's the charm here. The Warriors get it done. I think Steph Curry has a great game. I think he's going to be dropping between 28 and 37 points to move on, to secure that playoff spot, to secure the 7th seed, and then play a Houston Rockets team that, again, has me shaking in my boots a little bit, but I will take the Warriors tonight at home in the playing game.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think the Warriors are going to win as well. I'm not sure they cover 7.5 points, though. That's a pretty big point spread. Both teams are 48 and 34. The game, I think it favors the Warriors to be playing at home, of course, right? But as you say, they haven't done very well playing at home. They're only 6-4 in their last 10 at home, so that doesn't bode so well for them. The fifth meeting between these two teams. The Warriors up 3-1, so that's a positive for the Warriors. The Warriors have won 7 in the last 10 and covered 6-3-1 in their last 10. The Grizzlies are 22-19 on the road with a point differential of 5. But as you mentioned, they can't beat a Western team, so that favors the Warriors. The Warriors' record at home, I mentioned, 6-4 in their last 10. The odds, the Warriors are minus 314, the Grizzlies plus 252. That's a pretty big spread favoring the Warriors. The Warriors minus 7.5 right now. The Warriors have dominated the Grizzlies this season, except for one game. Jimmy Butler helps strengthen their defense and provides a strong secondary scorer to Curry. The Warriors are a different and more dangerous team, I think, since acquiring Butler. They've gone 23-7 since he joined the team, which is a great record. The Grizzlies' defense has been poor of late. They didn't experience a bump from their new head coach since firing Taylor Jenkins. They went 4-5, although they lost their first 3, I think, and then they improved some. Overall, 4-5 under their new coach. The Grizzlies won 3 of their last 5, but they beat Dallas, Charlotte, and Detroit. So it wasn't like they were knocking off the leaders.
Don't disrespect Detroit.
Detroit is respectable, and that was a close game. The Warriors have only won 2 of their last 5. They beat Portland and Phoenix, which you'd expect, but they lost the Clippers, as you said, in a very discouraging fashion in overtime. They lost to San Antonio as well and Houston. Draymond Green, he thinks they're going to be fine, having to win a play-in game. He said the playoffs, you're playing, there's no back-to-back games or anything like that, so just got to get out there. We'll be all right. If we just got to get there, if we get in, we'll be all right. We're not senior citizens. We're high-level basketball players. We've been training all year for this. No disrespect to senior citizens. By the way, we love our senior citizens. He said Warriors are relying on, but I think this is an interesting stat and a telling one. And I do think they're going to get beyond this game, and they'll get the 7th seed. Then they got to go against Houston, which is scary, I agree. But are they going to be able to make it to the finals? I mean, the Warriors are relying on Steph Curry's 37 years old. Butler is 35 years old, and Draymond Green's 35 years old. So they got a lot of experience, but they could get worn down in this having to play maybe 2 play-in games to get to the to get into the playoffs. Butler has been strong for them, 17, almost 18 points a game, 6 assists, 5.5 rebounds. Curry, 24.5 points, 6 assists, 311 three-pointers this year, more than 300 for the 6th time in his career. Only 4 of the players have made 300 in a single season. So he's amazing. He's amazing. And when he gets it going, look out. They're not going to be beat if he can get it going. But again, he's either up or he's down. So we'll have to see how he goes tonight. The Warriors' rebounding could be a concern too. They were terrible against the Clippers. And going up against the Grizzlies, it's going to be tough because the Grizzlies, that's one of their strengths. They crash the boards. So we'll have to see. Curry says on that point, we need to get them in transition, secure rebounds, and 50-50 balls to win the game. I say the Warriors win, but I'm not sure they cover. I don't think they're going to cover the 7.5 point spread.
I think it is key what you just brought up, the rebounding, because the Grizzlies are second in the NBA in rebounds per game, and since Jimmy Butler got to the Warriors, they actually have 51.8 rebounds. However, crashing on the other side, they give up 50.1 rebounds per game since Jimmy Butler got there, and they just only rebounded 25 boards against the Clippers, which was their worst all year, and they're 32-17 when they out-rebound their opponent, 14-18 when they don't. So, yeah, I agree. It's going to be going deep in your bench, put out Guy Santos, try to get some of your big guys there, have Quinn Post out there to try to get some boards because he could also hit a couple threes occasionally and be a good offensive piece when you need him, when you need to expand that bench a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see that, but I think the key right now is this team needs to not be shut down. Against the Houston Rockets, Curry could do nothing. Absolutely nothing. They shut him down. And one of the keys is going to be to take out Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. What's interesting is that Draymond Green and this Golden State Warriors team, they kind of know how to get under Triple J's skin, because if we remember the April 1st loss to Golden State, Butler actually baited Jaren Jackson Jr. into a 6th foul in crunch time late in the game. And also, we have to realize that he's fouled out 5 times, I think, this season. Grizzlies are 1-4 in those games, and the only win was a 151-148 win in overtime to the Phoenix Suns. Nobody respects the Phoenix Suns. They just fired Budenholzer, their head coach, and they're looking for a trade partner with Kevin Durant. So they're blowing that team up. So I don't know how much you really want to put on that. I guess valiant effort to come out on top in overtime. Also, if we just don't even worry about the fouling out, how about just a lot of fouls, 5 fouls? They're 6-13 Memphis is when Triple J has 5 fouls. So you get one of the best like we're talking about a defensive player of the year candidate, and he did win a few years ago. If you get him into foul trouble, that decreases the defensive prowess that the Grizzlies can have, and then that opens up the game offensively for Draymond down low. That opens it up for Curry outside, helps out Jimmy Butler as well, mid-range drawing fouls and everything like that. So I'm going to give it to the Warriors. They need to crash the boards like you mentioned. They need to come on top, and Curry can't go 0 for 7 in a game. You can't let that happen.
Right. And it'll be interesting to see if Draymond Green can keep his cool. Every once in a while he has a meltdown and gets himself ejected from games. I hope that doesn't happen tonight. Ja Morant, we didn't say much about him.
He's a great player.
To see what he does. He can be a difference maker in this game, but I think it comes down to Curry and how he plays and how Jimmy Butler supports him, and whether Jimmy Butler can get to the line like he's been doing, which is a plus for the Warriors who've had trouble with that, and whether Draymond Green can, score a double-double at least. I think that's important. And, and as you say, Kuminga, they're looking to have lineups without him in there and talking about that. That's a little concerning. I thought he was one of their pieces for the future.
You might have thought of that. There was rumors about potential trades a couple of years ago last year, so we'll see what happens when the season ends, but it's interesting. Steve Kerr's trying to find lineups without him in it, and he got a DNP against the Clippers. So
I think the
coach's decision.
I think the Warriors have got to get beyond, got to get at least to the second round and do well in the second round to avoid talks about blowing that team up. Look at the age.
You wouldn't blow it up.
They got Butler 35, Green 35, and Curry 37. They're not going to part ways with Curry. He's there forever.
Right. No, you wouldn't blow up the team. You would ride it out. That's the whole thing. You're going to ride Curry out, Steve Kerr's contract, Draymond Green. Oh, Draymond Green, I don't know, trade potentially, but no, you would ride out all these contracts. You would ride them out until the very end, until they all retire or they move on elsewhere when their contracts are up, or you trade them maybe next year. I don't think this team gets blown up, though. You actually have a decent young core that you could work around. But this team is on its very, very last licks here because there's maybe 2 years left.
If they don't make it very far in the playoffs.
Correct. Let's get to our next topic here.
There's a risk they might not get in, right?
Well, yeah. You go up against go up against the winner of Sacramento and the Dallas Mavericks, who the Warriors reached 2-2 against both those teams.
Yeah.
And Anthony Davis is back and healthy.
Yeah.
That could be a serious X factor in that game. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching this clip of the Harvey Hour. If you want to watch the full show, you can by clicking the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to take the show with you on the go, it is available wherever you get your podcast. We go live here on YouTube every single Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a video and whenever we go live.